Welcome back to Romany's Realm. I'm Romany, and today I've just got a short doodle session to share with you. I really love my Bic ballpoint pens, as I'm sure you all know if you've been here before, and I've been really enjoying playing with the combinations of different colours. I found quite a few new colours in these. They used to just do the basic black, blue, green, and red, and then they brought out fashion colours, which is like a turquoise, a lime, a purple, and a pink. And recently I found out that they had brought out what they call an earth set, which is a brown, a teal, a gold, and another colour I can't remember off the top of my head. Then they brought out neon colours in orange and yellow. And the combination of these is just so fun to play with. There's quite a few different ballpoint pen artists on Instagram, and one of my favourites is Nicolas Sanchez. I will leave his link down below. He recreates old masters' paintings using just the basic 4-colour Bic. He does skin tones, water, everything you could possibly imagine he can do with a 4-colour ballpoint pen, which is just stunning to me. I can't do flesh tones. I've tried and I just can't seem to get it. I know the basics, red and green is brown. You get your purples from red and blue. It's not rocket science, but somehow I just can't get them light enough to make that beautiful flesh tone that he can do with his red and green together. However, I do enjoy playing with lots of other colours, and one of the meditation cards I drew recently had a beautiful lotus on it in watercolours that was all done in blues and pinks and purples, and I used that as a inspiration to do this one and play around with getting these different colours to mix together. Interestingly enough, if you mix the turquoise with the bright pink, you get the same purple that is in the purple set. I found the same with the orange and yellow. If you mix the orange neon with the yellow neon, you actually get the gold that comes in the earth set. So some of that was quite interesting to play with and work out what colours combine together. As you may know, I normally draw in black with occasional extra colours. I very rarely do anything in multicolours, but I'm really getting into this idea of doing full colour illustrations in just these Bic ballpoints. I went through a whole phase last year where I was really into gouache, and then I went through a phase of being back into my watercolours, and now it appears I'm going through a phase of being back into my ballpoint pens. And I really love the idea of being able to go back into your stash and rediscover a thing that you absolutely love. I mean, I've been using ballpoint pens for many, many years. For a very long time, it was my staple, all the way through high school and college and university. All I did was carry an A5 notebook and a black ballpoint pen, and I would go through a notebook practically every week with various lecture notes and sketches and goodness knows what else. Not to mention the amount of ballpoint pens I went through. It really saddens me that Bic still haven't made them refillable. That's the one thing that really bothers me about Bics. However, I don't know if it's the same for those of you living outside of the UK, but in the UK you can actually return your empties to Bic and they will put them into their recycling. I'm not sure what happens to them after that. I don't know if they're literally recycled into new pens or melted down or what, but you can return them to them. They used to do a little thing, in fact, on the bags. If you bought a bag and you returned your set of 10 empty, they would give you a gift certificate for, I think it was £10. Yeah, I think you used to get £10 for emptying 10 pens. I got through so many pens. I used to literally send boxes of them back. I don't really bother anymore because I'm not convinced that they actually do anything with them. And especially during lockdown, I mean, it's virtually impossible to get to the post office. So, but still, I shall keep using my ballpoint pens. Here I'm just using the pink, the blue and the purple to create shading and transition between all of them. And I did the centre part. The centre part was quite tricky because I had to draw in around all these little dots, and it was only a doodle. I didn't have the inclination to do it super carefully. So what I did was I drew the dots in with the dark kind of goldy colour, filled them in with the bright yellow, and then just kind of fudged around the inside with the pink and the blue where I thought it looked nice. And then I went back in afterwards. You'll see at the end, I went back in and redid all the dots and then added some orange to them. And actually, I think they came out really well. I didn't spend very much time on them compared to the petals, which I really enjoyed doing because it was fun to see how many different variations of 3 colours you could get. The initial outline I did in red because I wanted the red to stand out, and I knew if I went over the red with with any of the colours, it was going to make a darker colour. And of course, if you go over it with the blue, you're going to get a darker purple than you've already got. So I did actually end up, I think after I finished filming, I decided to go back in with a little bit more depth, and I used the dark blue, I believe, to just go in and add a few little areas of contrast deep down in the flower, just where it would be naturally very shaded. But I don't think I filmed that. I think that was an afterthought. Just continuing here to fill in the colours. Ah, yes, tissues. This is a big one. I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, when you're working with ballpoint pens, don't you get a lot of blotches and stuff? How do you stop your pens blotting everywhere? What do you do when you get a big blob of ink on the end of your pen?" I have to say, I don't really understand why the concept of, well, wipe it off is so beyond people. Maybe it's because you wouldn't normally do it when you were writing, you'd just carry on. But yeah, I just have a little scrap of tissue and a little scrap of cardboard with me at all times. And if I can't get a pen to work, I'll work it on the cardboard just to get it started, because sometimes they do go a little bit dry. Especially at the moment, I've got the heating on, so they do tend to not work initially when you put them to the paper. You just have to scrabble them a little bit. And if they do go a little bit blotchy, which tends to happen in the heat more than at the moment, I think it only happened a couple of times today, but if it does go blotchy on the end, I just wipe the blotches off with a little bit of paper towel. I don't know if people deliberately make things complicated because they expect them to be complicated, or if it's just a case of not really thinking. I suspect it's just not really thinking, because when you write with a ballpoint pen, you don't generally get blobs and blotches everywhere unless it's incredibly hot and you've been writing for a very long time. But I guess it's just coming across something that you don't normally have to deal with, and your immediate response is not necessarily to go, "Oh, how can I fix this problem?" It's to ask somebody that you know does it and go, "What do you do when this happens?" I think maybe people need to be encouraged to just stop and think and work out how would they solve the problem themselves rather than immediately asking for help. It's very easy in the art world to assume that everybody knows better than you, but really, if you've got a big blob of ink on the end of your pen, wipe it off, guys. Just wipe it off. So we're coming up to the end now. You can see I've gone back in with the yellows and oranges, and in fact when I went in between the yellow dots with the blue and pink, it actually gave a really nice area of shading to it, so I was pretty happy with that. And coming up now, you've got the final result. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye guys.